Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Moving Markets Podcast. It is Wednesday, November the 12th, 2025. As I am recording the stock market has been open for about an hour and a half. And what started out looking like it was going to be a pretty good day has quite honestly gotten kind of ugly. It's at least for the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones is up pretty dramatically. But the Nasdaq is struggling. The Nasdaq is having a very rough day, and it's showing up big time in a number of trades that we have open. In fact, we've got one of our three triple play trades that is looking much better today than it did yesterday, and the other two look absolutely awful right now, or at least one of them looks awful and one of them looks like it's okay. Um, let me, without talking a lot about what is driving things today, other than this one comment, I will say this. The Dow Jones is being led primarily by Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is up 3% today. It is the heaviest weighted company in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And then United Health, which is kind of a higher weighted company, but I think in the top five or six, it is up almost 4% today. So those two companies primarily, and there's others that are up, but those two companies primarily are driving the Dow Jones Industrial Average up. But you've got a rotation out of tech stocks that is, I don't know if it's a little bit of a hangover or just like if you would call it a little bit of a continuation of what we saw a week ago, where there was a lot of concern over AI stock valuations, companies that are spending a lot of money on AI and fear that those companies are dramatically overvalued. That right now the Nasdaq is down about 135 points. Again, this is about an hour and a half into trading. Lots of time for it to possibly turn around, but right now it's hard to say whether, I mean, it's too early in the day to say whether it will turn around or not. You could see people who felt like last week maybe they missed out on the dip, and are looking now to find a way back in. You had this big sell-off last week. Obviously, from 2 days ago, you had a big giant move up on the NASDAQ that I think a lot of people saw the NASDAQ getting close to this 22,500 mark was the right buy the dip spot, and that catapulted things on Monday. But then yesterday it gave back a little bit. It really wasn't all that bad. And then today it's like those fears. I don't know if those fears have been restoked, or if that's the right way to say it, or if it's just a little bit of a hangover of that fear of the NASDAQ stocks, that fear of overvaluation of NASDAQ stocks. The biggest hit to any company that we are involved in right now is Palantir is down about 4.5%, down over almost $9. And actually just as I was speaking, it went down $9. I think its lowest point so far in this first hour and a half of trading. Palantir went down as low as 181.66. It actually just hit that low, 181.61, 181.60. I mean, it just keeps touching new lows, and it's hard to know for sure where Palantir might bounce back if it does. Now, here's the tricky thing. Palantir, if it doesn't finish today off of its low and up close to the 185 mark, which is where we need it to be, we're either going to have to roll the trade out 1 week, first thing tomorrow morning, or we're going to have to roll it into a bear call spread, which I do not want to do. I don't want to roll Palantir into a bear call because I do think Palantir will come back. I don't know if it'll come back. I mean, it's only got to go up $3.50 from where it's at right now to guarantee us a full profit in our triple play trade. Now, I'm not worried even a little bit about our spread trade on Palantir because that's a longer term trade. And this little adjustment to Palantir, this little sell-off for a couple of days, it's not going to last. Palantir is bringing in too much money. They've got too many good contracts that are outside of the government contract range, and they're just honestly they're too good a company right now. Doesn't mean they couldn't pull back a little bit more, but I'm not worried about them beyond just this next couple of days. I worry about will they get back above and stay above 185 comfortably for these next couple of days? And right now, that is honestly, that is anybody's guess right now whether or not that will happen. So we'll see. If at the end of the day today, it's not, it's got to be, I think, back up in this range, right in here in the 185, 186 range for us to not have to make an adjustment tomorrow. Now, the adjustment could be as simple as just rolling both legs of the trade out 1 week. That wouldn't be that big a deal. That's not something that would stress me out in any way because I do think Palantir will come back and I don't think it'll be as bad as what it looks like right now. The other one is Tesla. Tesla has not gone below the strike price of our short call, but I absolutely hate how close it has gotten. And I hate that Tesla, after a little bit of a sell off yesterday, today, what bothers me about Tesla is that it is confirming technical crossovers to the downside. Now, it still has not gone down here to 420, which is where it could bounce off of if, I think that's the worst that it might do. But we set our trade at 425, 420 because honestly, I didn't believe a couple of days ago when I put this trade on that we were really in jeopardy of Tesla going below 425. Now they haven't gone below it today. I just hate how close they are. They're still $3.50 above 425, but just like Palantir, they just continue, an hour and a half in, they just continue to hit their lows of the session. Tesla was just it's gone down to 427.53 and it's only 50 cents higher than that right now. And by the way, Palantir, the low of the day is now 181.34, which it's probably going to hit that low again or set a new low. It's only just there you go, 181.30, the new low for the day. Yeah, I don't know. It's again, we're early in the trading day. I don't mean to sound panicky. I just don't like what's happening. It's not a shock, a little bit more rotation out of tech, a little bit of people not getting completely out of tech, but moving away from it enough that you can see some of these companies struggling a little bit. Yesterday, the company that I was most worried about, interestingly enough, was Marvell. And Marvell, in the midst of all of this, Marvell is having a good day today. They're up $1.60. They're up above our 90 strike price. We've got a lot back in Marvell. We're only, I think, a little bit off of being break even right now on the open Marvell trade. In fact, I show that on 10 contracts, I'm down like $80. It's down a little bit, but not very much. And Marvell is having a good solid day in the midst of this other stuff that is just really, not again, not stressing me out, but kind of pissing me off a little bit. I don't mind saying it that way. I think people that are rotating out of these AI companies are wimps. I think they're wussies. I think they're panicking a little bit unnecessarily. That's what it feels like to me. Now, some of my angst is it's hurting a couple of my trades. I'll admit that very, very freely that I don't like that it's hurting a couple of trades that I'm in. But I'm not in the long run. I'm not worried about those trades. I think Palantir, even before the day is over, I think Palantir will bounce back quite a bit. I don't think Tesla is going to go down much lower than it's down. In fact, it might even rebound today. And like I said, Marvell is looking good. The spread trades that we have on, well, they're down a little bit today. The SPY trade I've given up a little bit on. The Amazon trade is down a little bit. I'm not worried about these trades in the long run in any way, shape, or form. Nvidia surprisingly is only down a little tiny bit. So Nvidia, I have like no worries at all about. And again, these are longer term trades. So yeah, SPY's given up a little bit, Amazon's given up a little bit today, Palantir's given up a little bit today, but it's a 1 day thing. It's I think we'll look back in a couple of days and see that we are absolutely fine. But Palantir, that's the one we got to keep a really close eye on. Now, just in the last couple of minutes, it has rebounded off of that low. Um, the lowest it got while I've been online was 181.28. It's now back up over 182. That's a little bit to celebrate, I guess. But again, the trading day is super early. I'm not sure that anything is likely going to happen today that's going to pull some massive major turnaround, but it could, and I'm hopeful it does. So be watching Discord tomorrow. If at all possible, watch Discord tomorrow morning, because if we have to roll and adjust Palantir, we've got to do it like early in the day, within that first half an hour for sure. And I think right now, I think it's unlikely we're going to have to roll Tesla, and I think it's unlikely we're going to have to roll Marvell. But Palantir, we definitely have to keep a really close eye on it to see what might need to be done with that. Everything else was looking good. Our collar trades again. I Core Weave is down a little tiny bit today, or at least they were last time I looked. Let's get it up to the moment. Check on them. Yeah, they're only down 59 cents today. I told you the other day it wouldn't hurt my feelings if Core Weave got down as far as 80. I think 85 is about where they set up. You can see this is a pretty good level of support right in there. And I'm going to do something else real quick. I'm going to throw into this chart. I'm going to throw the 50-day moving average in here because off the top of my head, I don't remember where that was last time I looked. Oh, it's well, never mind. It's well below the 50-day moving average. So let's change that. Let's look real quick at the let's look at the 200-day moving average and see if that's what it's testing right now. I like to see sometimes if that will correlate somewhat with where the visual level of support is. And you can see that a 200 move, why is that not on there? 200-day moving average, not even showing up on there. So anyway, we'd have to go back farther than 6 months to see the 200-day moving average. So we'll see how it all shakes out. I had to do the podcast earlier in the day today than I normally would want to do because of some afternoon family commitments today. But I will be on Discord tomorrow morning for certain. I think by the time we get to the end of the day on Friday, I think we're going to be fine. That's my gut feel more than anything else. A lot will depend on what happens in the opening 15, 20, 30 minutes tomorrow morning. And like I said, really the Palantir trade is the one that's bugging me the most because I think this sell-off on Palantir is just exaggerated right now. And by the way, they are coming back a little bit. They're up a dollar and a half off of where they were at that lowest point. So we'll see. A finish today up in the neighborhood of 185, 186 would be delightful for Palantir, and we'll just see what we have to do on that. So I've talked enough about that. I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself now. So I'm going to wrap up right there. That's all I have for today. Watch Discord in the morning if you're in these triple play trades. There's not going to be any adjustments with the four open spread trades we have. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Bye bye.